Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, 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 everybody. How are you? Leave me a comment below. Where are you watching me from? Here in beautiful Hawaii. Aloha, aloha to you. It's 3:40 here, local time, and I think it's 7:30 or so LA time, and 10:30 New York, etc. Thank you for being here. Welcome. Leave me a comment. Tell me what was your favorite vacation this summer, or what will be, or what was in the past? Or how about this? Your dream vacation. You ever been to Hawaii? We've been here 5 times by the grace of God. My wife and I came here first in 1995, first came in 1995 when we got married for our honeymoon. Then we came for our 5 year, then for I think our 10th year, and then we've come a few times since. And she's come here with her sisters, and it's kind of I'm not going to say a second home, but it's definitely a favorite place. Probably my favorite vacation was Italy. Beautiful place. I enjoy it here too. But I think Italy was, I'm more of a city guy, so I like going to places and seeing architecture and the Vatican and things like that. But I mean, nature is beautiful, obviously. So, but I named this stream that behind the roses are many thorns, something like that. I've learned to, let's see, what did I write? I've learned to get back up. Yeah, it may look like all roses, but it's taken many thorns. Yeah. Learn to get back up every time. Because sometimes I think when we look at people vacationing, or here we are in beautiful Hawaii in a $5 million house that we're renting for a week or so, and you may think that it's all just sunshine and roses, but it hasn't been always that way. And I guess I wanted to talk about that because I think it's important for you to know, in case you're going through a season where you have a lot of thorns and you're dealing with all kinds of issues. So even though we're here now and enjoying it and we're really having a good time, um, this came after a very trying time for me in 2021, I guess, post pandemic, towards the end of the pandemic, when I lost my church that I was the lead pastor of for 6 years. That was my dream, to be there for a long time, maybe 10 years, 20 years in my career. Great success the first year or two, brought the church up to hundreds of people, all kinds of activities, and a lot of excitement. And then over time, it began to fall apart. And at the end of my time there, we had just a very difficult time trying to make it all work. And there were some great blessings, and I don't regret a second of it, but it eventually all fell apart. And I really went through from 2021 till maybe the last year or two, a really trying time, trying to figure out how to do life. Anxious, depressed, very low motivation, went to counseling, talked to a lot of people, talked to Jesus. I did all kinds of stuff, side jobs to try to make ends meet because I just wasn't ready to go back into church ministry. I doubted if I was going to ever be a pastor again. And it really wasn't until, by the grace of God, really Victory Outreach. And I thank God for my Victory Outreach family to this day, that I got back on track. Shout out to Pastor Manuel, Pastor Chris, Sister Adriana, Sister Lisa, all of my beautiful family, both at Bellflower and Santa Ana, because Victory Outreach nurtured me back to health by giving me just love, loving me, loving me, even though I wasn't there long term, or I was only there for a couple of years. But that's all it took for me to feel like I was gifted still. Because when I went through that church loss, that was my dream. I really didn't think I could do it again. I had a mentor of mine right after the whole church thing fell apart. And he said, most guys never come back to church. Most guys that go through what you went through, which are many, especially post pandemic, he said they never go back. And now, by the grace of God, here I am back in church ministry full time, serving at this beautiful church, doing music and worship and teaching kids and teaching rap and beat making to students and working with parents and working with families and doing music in this beautiful sound system that we have, recording music, playing my own original songs, mentoring young people, kids, adults, building beautiful sets and teaching at chapel on Wednesday mornings. I taught VBS, just a beautiful, beautiful time. And our income, of course, stabilized, and our my own wellness has also become better. And I still struggle with wanting more, wanting to. Here's the thing that I've learned about myself is that the good of being an achiever is that you shoot for the stars. But then the problem is when you don't reach the stars, you don't have a plan B. And so if you're that way, leave me a comment, say, yep, I can relate to what you're saying. I'm the same way. Not everyone is that way. Some people aren't, they don't have to reach the stars. They're very happy being where they're at. My wife is that way. That's why I love her to death, because she's not trying to be the famous this or the millionaire that. And so, as God and as my own failures and experiences happen, as God begins to teach me, then that humility, I've accepted the beauty of just being me, of just being normal, just being David. My counselor always says, just be you. You don't have to be more. But because of many reasons, I thought that I had to do more in order to be safe. And so I've learned the hard way that that's not true. And maybe why am I telling you all this? Because, there are just many of us, I think, young and old, I think 20-year-olds, I see it in my kids and in many other young people that are really trying to figure out, what do I do? I see the Instagram generation that's making millions at age 13, or that's got this $1 million house on the ocean by age 21, or that are traveling the world by age 22, and here I am as a 23-year-old, and I'm broke and I can't move out of my parents' house, or I am not married, or I don't look like these Instagram models, or I don't have the $1 million hustle culture, entrepreneurial Bitcoin thing that my friends are doing. And so there's a lot of, we call it in Spanish, decepcion. We feel, what would be the best word for that? We feel it's more than discouraged. We feel hopeless, I guess would be a good word for it. Decepcionados. Like we sighed, like, man, it didn't happen. I was reading about a girl that is also an artist, also in her 20s. I was watching her stream, not reading, I was watching her stream. And it hit me that she's also like 26, 27. And she went through this really crazy time in 2022 where she also just was depressed and just, like she said, it was a traumatic experience because she wanted to be a famous star, singer, musician, pop star, and it just didn't happen. And she lost all her money investing into her career. And I was watching her live stream just a little bit ago, and she said that it was the hardest thing ever, but that helped her to pivot and to adapt and to give up that dream basically and to be more of who she is, more of a content teacher, not so much a pop star. And so it's really interesting, right? How young people, not just us middle-aged people, but young people are going through very similar things. As I said, I see it in my kids' lives. I see it in many people's lives. You hit bottom at age 20. It's crazy, huh? How that happens. But that's sort of what I think people are dealing with. And so I give you my story because no matter if you're 20 or in your 50s like I am, these seasons come, but I mean, here we are. You've seen the pictures, you've seen the videos in this beautiful island. And then my wife just got back from Wyoming. You would think, what's there? Well, her family has $1 million house up there in some hill, and my goodness, and our kids just came back from New York, right? Yeah, last week I think they were there, and our son just graduated from UCSB. And but you know what? Like I said, it hasn't all been easy. There have been a lot of struggles along the way, along the journey. And for us as parents, the same thing, to see them grow and leave and cleave and all of those things that if you're a parent of kids of any age, you deal with these constant changes and losses. But that's really all I wanted to say, just to encourage and to share my own example. And it's not like I never deal with some of those thoughts. I still wish, oh man, I wish I was still here, up there, and not blah blah. And God keeps saying, nope, son, you're exactly where I want you to be. You're right where I want you to be. And that I think is the lesson to accept for all of us, is to, whether you're reaching for the stars, you're still climbing, you're in your 20s, you're still climbing the ladder, or whether you're on the other side of that and you've reached the top and you're now wondering now what it's to be content, right? That's what Paul says. I've learned in plenty or in few, to this, the secret, he says, to life. He says to be content in all circumstances. He says, I can do all things through Christ. Excuse me. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And that's the secret. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. I can be content in who I am, because no matter what is around me, I can do it in the strength of Jesus, in the strength of God. So I hope that helps somebody out there. It's definitely something that I need to hear all the time. And just like my friend was online encouraging me, I don't even know her, but I like her music. I hope I can encourage you. My guess is I may know you, I may not know you, but hopefully I can encourage you and to get back up. And if you don't have your dream vacation just yet, or maybe you do, to be thankful at all times, because God is faithful and he can pick us up no matter what we go through. Okay. Leave me a comment. Let me know where you're watching me from. Thanks so much for being here. I'll see you next time. Oh, yeah. By the way, keep watching for my mommy and I's Spanish content that we're putting out there every day. Vida Gozo with my beautiful mom. So maybe tomorrow or Friday we'll do a show. Right now, she's enjoying being out there in nature with my family. Okay. Thanks.